Good evening. It is Thursday, May 9th, 2024 at 6:31 PM. I'm calling the Fraser City Council meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks very much. Ms. Greenia, the roll.
Councilmember Bransky. Mayor Lessig.
Yes.
Councilmember Odell.
Here.
Councilmember Perry.
Here.
Councilmember Shortman.
Present.
Councilmember Stein. Mayor Pro Tem Sutherland.
Present.
All right, Mayor Pro Tem Sutherland.
I'd like to make a motion to excuse Councilmember Bransky and Councilmember Stein from today's meeting.
Okay, motion to excuse Councilmember Baranski and Councilmember Stein, seconded motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Sutherland, seconded by Councilmember Shornack. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. All right, item number 5, citizen participation on agenda items. This is the motion. This is the portion of the meeting. If you can't be here to the end of the meeting, you can speak on any agenda item that is on the agenda. Would anyone like to speak before the meeting starts? Seeing none, I will move on from that. Item number 6, consent agenda. Councilmember Shornack.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda. As is.
Okay. Motion by Councilmember Shornack, seconded by Councilmember Odell to adopt the consent agenda as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Consent agenda passes. All right. Item number 7A, fiscal year 24-25 Police and Fire SAD millage rates resolution. This is also known as PA 33. So, given that we have 2 members missing, it may be a little difficult to discuss that, but I'll open the floor to have any conversation.
Well, go ahead.
Councilmember Odell. Give it a shot.
I mean, we had our last budget meeting out there. We were kind of at an impasse. My position is still keeping
What is that sound?
Yeah, can we stop for a quick second?
It stopped.
And it stopped.
Keep it open a smidge.
What is it?
Here, just put them over
I'm going to put them on the chair.
It's gone. Whatever you did, you fixed it. Thank you.
Thanks, Ed. It's on.
Okay, go ahead, Pat. Please start over. Pat. Sorry you were interrupted, but that was a weird.
That was weird. Okay. I mean, we had our budget meeting last time. We were kind of at an impasse after further reviewing it and thinking about it and going over the numbers. I'm still would like to keep the PA 33 at 2 mills where it currently is, so no change from last year, with one of the mills going towards OPEB, strictly for OPEB costs, which is a big unfunded liability that we need to address. So that's where I currently stand. I did talk to Councilmember Stein. She is in agreement with it too. I know she's not here, but just from my conversation with her. So that's where I'm currently at. That's where I think it needs to be till we have these long-term liabilities a little more under control.
Okay, thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Sutherland.
Is that a motion?
Sure, I'll make a motion to keep PA 33 at 2 mills as presented in the budget.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Motion by Councilmember Odell, second. Mayor Pro Tem Sutherland. Comment from council. Councilmember Shornack.
Well, I originally started with 0, but for the word of compromise, which is something that everybody needs to learn because that's what makes the world go round. We're not all going to get exactly what we want, but at least we can get half of what we want. I am willing to do 1. I am not willing to do 2. I know Ms. Baranski is still absolutely at a 0. I believe Mr. Perry is still very much at a 0. Therefore, it will not be the correct amount. So my suggestion is everybody participate in compromise, and at least we can do the one and get it passed. But if everybody doesn't want to compromise and everybody wants to stick their heels in the dirt and not move an inch, we are going to be stuck in this little conundrum for a while. And personally, even though I don't read Facebook, people send me little snaps all the time, and I think it's hysterical that because people want to lower your taxes, you're criticizing them for holding up the budget process. I'm like, in what world that makes sense? I don't know. But I believe it is a good compromise where the one would go strictly to our pension liability, which everybody agreed to anyway. And again, I just feel that compromise makes the world go round, and if can't compromise, we're going to be stuck here forever. And I'm sure that you guys don't want to keep having special meetings and hashing it out. Everybody has their opinion. Everybody's opinion is valid. Everybody's concerns are valid. You just got to decide what you want to do.
Councilmember Perry?
I'm stuck at 0 just because of the budget surplus, whatever word you guys want to call it. I'm having a hard time moving from that 0 because of the excess funds we have in the bank. If we were at our 25-ish%, I could say, okay, we can do 1 or maybe 2 if it warranted it, but I'm just having an issue with that. And I hate to hold up things, but I just can't. That's another $500,000 to $1 million plus that we're going to be taxing the people.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem Sutherland.
So in the last meeting, I definitely was talking about compromise, and then actually based on Councilmember Bransky's comments, it brought me back up from 1.5 to 2. You know, being part of the conversations that I've been part of up here over the last couple of years, you know, we don't have the money to do this, we don't have the money to do that, the residents want this. I can't see bringing it down right now. We have too much work to do. If we have money in the bank, then we need to spend it. We need to fix the roads. If you've driven down Dana that Emerson is on, it's literally like boom, 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 school buses bumping up and down. We have things that need to be fixed. We need things that need to be done. So I think that we need to spend some of this money to make the city better and then talk about bringing it down at a later time. We brought it down 1 mil last year. Things are only getting more expensive. It just makes sense to me to get these things fixed and take care of right now.
Thank you. All right, I'll weigh in. Compromise is important. I think we did that the first 2 years I was here. And we compromised the capital, we got rid of capital improvements the first year. That was how we negotiated any PA 33 to begin with. Long-term, we're compromising our long-term future by having a $60 million long-term liabilities. And these are liabilities that from our retiree health care. A lot of our retirees retired a long time ago. We're currently paying with today's tax dollars for yesterday's retirees. Instead of having saved back in the day to fund them, because they didn't require us to. Pension fund, we're required by law to fund that fully, and we do. And that's, but in the retiree health care, that's a decision we have to make. So can we fund it all today? No. We actually talked several years ago about bonding it out and getting a bond for $30 million and doing it that way. I don't think that was a good idea then. I don't think it's a good idea now. But we have to start chipping away at these. In 2011, Governor Snyder bit the bullet and started putting money into their teachers' retiree health care fund, which was funded at about the same level ours was, 0. Don't quote me on that. It could be, it was way underfunded. This year, it is fully funded, and the Governor Whitmer wants to take $670 million of that retiree OPEB healthcare fund and use it, put it into the school district. But the main thing is the teachers are protected or funded at the moment. Right now, we're at about 3%. So that means in the next 25 years, we're going to have to come up with the other 97% of that money. So I've done compromise in the past. I think this is a small one at 2, because then we are actually proactively doing what many of us have advocated for before. So that's where I stand. Any other comments before I open it up to the public? Yes.
Well, basically, from your comments, you're suggesting that then you're going to take both the 2 mills and put them all towards the MERS and OPEB?
I did not say that at all. No.
Okay, well, but if you're bringing up the MERS and OPEB,
Yeah.
and I wholeheartedly agree with you that this was never done correctly, obviously, you know, it's been an issue for me as well. If your justification of the 2 mills is based on the MERS and OPEB, and while I agree with you, Ms. Sutherland, about with regards to the roads, we have a fund balance that we can take, and we definitely should take, and start fixing the roads and fixing our infrastructure. That is where I hope the bulk of that money goes. That's what I'm voting for anyway, is infrastructure repairs, which are roads and everything else that goes along with that. However, if your justification for keeping the 2 mills in the PA 33 is MERS and OPEB, then I would say, why aren't we taking that whole 2 mills, then putting it towards the MERS and OPEB?
Okay.
Because, no, I know you didn't say that. I'm asking, why wouldn't we do that? Because the unfunded liability is going to be there, unfortunately, unless somebody wins billions of dollars and wants to pay it off for us, which I don't see happening. So with that being said, it's been a constant battle. Every year, we've been putting more money than just what well, I shouldn't say that. Every year, we were supposed to be putting more money towards that than just what we were being told we had to do. Now, was that done correctly every year? Apparently not. We are finding out. However,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Can you say it, repeat that? And I didn't hear the beginning of it, so.
oh,
I
I'm
missed
saying,
the beginning of it.
since I've been on, well, I'm going to say, for the last 6 years, I think is more than fair, that I've been on council, we have tried to put, and we have intended money to go extra besides the money that we're being told we have to pay into the MERS and OPEB. We've been trying to pay extra. I know there's a number of times where we took a mill or 2 and put it towards the MERS and OPEB during that period of time. So the councils that I've been a part of, we have been trying to pay down the liability. Obviously, with the amount that is owed, it is not going to be a quick fix by any sense of the imagination for anybody. And I know we're in the same boat as many of the municipalities in the state of Michigan as well. So I guess my commentary is, because the thing that you brought up mostly was the MERS and OPEB and being underfunded. For the $1.5 million, roughly, that the 2 mills would generate, if that is your biggest concern, and Ms. Sutherland's obviously is the roads, I'm for both of them, then why wouldn't we take the 2 and put it specifically towards the MERS and OPEB? What is that $750 going to do when it comes to a road? It's not going to repair a road in our city. We all know that. They're millions.
3/4 of a road, of a mile.
Yeah, I was going to say, not even a road
3/4 of a
necessarily,
mile.
but I'm just saying. So,
But if you're talking about York,
yeah.
it almost replace York, which also needs.
Well, yeah, we know that lengthy list, but I'm just saying, that is why I'm willing to compromise at 1, because I do understand that we do have the MERS and OPEB liability, and we do need to put extra money towards that. The only way I would feel comfortable with ever doing 2 is if you took that entire 2 and it was allocated specifically for MERS and OPEB, because that is the biggest liability that this city currently holds.
Couple things. I am just as frustrated with you as you are about the MERS and OPEB, or primarily the OPEB. MERS is where we put that money. But the state allowed municipalities to do that. I think it was, back then, it was, this will be a small cost, and it's mushroomed into a huge one.
Agreed.
Couple just points, and again, to my frustration, is we did try to put 200,000 in. That's the only time we ever made an affirmative motion to put extra money in that wasn't mandated by the state. We filed, I promise you, and the state came in and said, you have a corrective action plan, we need that, I forget the Public Act number, and then that was $207,000, and that amount of money is required by the state each year. Beyond that, we have never put a dime into into OPEB funding other than that required amount.
Than we have for MERS, yeah, and then you said that we're supposed to put it in OPEB last year, and they put it in MERS, or was it the
couple
year
years
before?
ago, yep.
Yeah, because I know that we put, like, at least that 1 year, we put at least 1 full mill towards that.
No?
I'm going to pull up my numbers when I
If
get
you
home.
find that, I will buy you dinner.
You don't need to buy me dinner,
I
I'm
wish
saying.
we had. I wish we had, because that's where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
So, And just to make it clear, PA 33 funds the police department operations. And Don's over here nodding his head, and I made that mistake the other day. I would like to put the equivalent of 1 mil of PA 33 from our general fund balance into that. I don't want to get us in any trouble, and I misspoke at the last budget meeting, and Don's over here nodding, and said, yes, you did.
It is semantics, but yes, we understand
Well,
that
it's,
that
but
money.
it's legal
It
semantics,
is
and we
legal-
want to make
it
sure
is.
that, I wanted to make sure that that was an equivalence. It was not.
It is, agreed.
So, Councilmember Odell.
To your point, I agree with you. We need to spend a lot of this excess fund balance on roads and infrastructure. I'm with you 100% on that. One thing, though, we got to keep in mind is that we just renegotiated most of the police contracts recently, and over traditional, it's a much higher increase than it has been over traditionally because inflation is a lot higher. So our costs are not going to be going down per se. So that's why, that's another reason PA 33, I think, we need to stay the course because our long-term costs, our salary costs, those are all going up larger than traditionally they have, maybe 2 or 3% in the past. They're going up more than that going forward. So it's not, again, for me, it's not that I don't want to give, tax the residents any more than we have to, but the costs are going up, and we got to be able to cover those equivalently, or else our fund balance, once we spend that excess money, is going to start going down again, and then we're going to have to raise taxes and go it up. So instead of going seesawing back and forth, it should be steady and go along with the expenses. That's why I'm at 2. As soon as we can get rid of it, I'd love to get rid of it, but I don't think long-term financially it makes a lot of sense to do that right now with inflation and the cost of labor to run the city is going up higher than it has traditionally in the past.
Mayor Pro Tem Sugden.
The only other thing that I wanted to reiterate was something that I had said in the last meeting, where when I get resident feedback, and, anybody wants to reach out to me, dana.s@micityofFraser.com, that residents just don't want their taxes increased, but the things that they want are better infrastructure and more police. So if we stay the course on PA 33, maybe that is something that we can explore. I had 2 residents reach out to me just this last week about increasing police. So if we put the equivalent of the general fund into OPEB, and then see what we can do with PA 33, as well as spend some of our excess fund balance on infrastructure.
Anybody else at the moment? I think we all agree infrastructure. We have a fund balance, and that needs to be allocated towards roads and other needs of the city. I watched the meeting the other night, or last night, and you said that we can drive on dirt roads if we don't have to fix them, but I don't think anyone would be satisfied if that was the case. So, all right, anybody else, or I'll just open up to the public? Would anyone like to speak on this matter? Yes. Come on up, Deanne.
Hopefully it's on. Yep. Deanna Reiner, 15569 Luxembourg. We fought so long and hard for the PA 33, and then all of a sudden I was looking, did they change the rules for PA 33 that it was no longer for police and fire? Again, we need to build up our staff. And again, the increases, fewer candidates out there for police and firemen. We need to be able to pay them a comparable wage as well as equipment. 2% is great, but I could live with possibly 1. But I don't think we should definitely, and I go, I know you disagree, but I mean, we need to protect our public safety department. So doing away with it, I think, is all the time we fought to get the PA 33. And if it ever comes to where it had to go to a vote again, I don't want to go through that again. So just please take that into consideration. I know it's been discussions of just doing away with it, but we need to protect them so we can continue to hire quality public safety officers and fire and our EMTs. So consider that, please. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else like to speak on this matter? Okay, so I want to get a repeat of the motion.
The motion was to keep the PA 33 at 2 mils, as originally submitted in the budget.
Okay, and that was just the motion for P3.
Nice.
All right, a roll call vote, please.
Mayor Lustig,
Yes.
Councilmember Odell,
Yes.
Councilmember Perry,
No.
Councilmember Shornack,
No.
Okay, motion fails.
I mean, no.
Requires 5 votes.
No, yes.
Requires 5 votes,
Yes.
so, just so the public's aware,
So
it
you
didn't
didn't call me.
pass, even though it's 3-2.
Oh, okay.
that's okay.
What did I do?
I didn't get to vote.
Oh, you did.
No. Yes.
I heard a phantom vote. And I apologize. Okay, so the motion fails 3-2. Councilmember Shornack.
Just out of curiosity, because it was brought up by Ms. Sutherland and brought up by a resident, with regards to if we, because you keep saying everybody wants more police officers, which I'm perfectly fine with, but not once has anybody said, okay, then we're going to allocate another individual to our director to hire another individual to put on the streets with the PA 33 money. Oh, and by the way, the residents don't have to vote on the PA 33 again if we decide to bring it back and if it goes away. Just FYI, we still have the right to go ahead and invoke it. I did find that out.
So the reason why I've not brought up specific allocation is because I would want Sam's input on that.
I can't imagine she'd say, no, please don't give me more officers.
No, but I'm just saying, like, it's public safety, right? So it's like, do we need more EMTs? Do we need more?
Oh, she already asked, she already got her EMTs.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, right, but there's still always room to assess, right? And determine, we're about to go to 12-hour shifts, like, I can't sit here and say, yes, this is the number of officers that we need, and that's her area of
No,
expertise.
I understand that.
So I would be willing to 100% do something like that. I just don't know, I can't say what that number is. I can't just go, yep, one more officer. So, but yeah, if we want
I
to
would
get
have thought
that.
it that, well, because you brought it up a couple times now, and I'm not trying to be rude or anything.
No,
like
no,
that.
no.
I'm just saying, I would have thought by now you would have reached out and said, hey, chief, if I propose this, is this something you really need? Because it's been brought up now a couple times, and I'm like, because we want that open communication to go ahead and move this process along. And while, yes, I agree, people would like more public safety officers, absolutely, who wouldn't? We want to be more safe. But unless we're going to say, okay, well, then we're going to allocate this one extra one to the chief and let her hire another body and put another body in there.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So unless
We could do that.
well, I know, I'm saying, but unless we have a clear, concise way of what the monies are and how we're going to break those funds down, that's another reason why I can't go in the full 2%, so.
But I think
Anyway, I just wanted to ask about that.
No, that's okay, because I think the other thing is that this is just approving the budget, though. All of these other things, like the nuts and bolts of it, would be.
No, I know.
We'd have to do at a later time. So I didn't think that that was really even necessary at this point, with the discussion and understanding that these are things that we would like to accomplish by leaving it at 2 mils.
Right, but that's what I'm saying, but since you knew there was people in it, in opposition of the two, that's why I'm saying, like, that
Right.
would have, okay. so
I get-
We're not going to belabor it. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, we're kind of in between agenda items,
Yes.
but I would like to say that I think we've already made some changes. You guys, before I got here, you went to the 12-hour shifts. That's a huge change in our department's operation. Plus, there was a well-thought-out and well-presented proposal to add 2 firefighter EMTs, which also alleviates some of that pressure. So I think this is a year we can kind of absorb all that, see where we end up a year from now, and we'll be back at this point with a year under our belt and see how it works.
With the audit on time.
With the audit on time. God willing. All right, so let's go to item 7B, which is the fiscal year 24-25 budget adoption. City Manager, would you like to kind of lead the discussion there and bring us up to speed?
Sure. So we've had a couple meetings now where we introduced the budget. We had the public hearing and solicited feedback from the public on that. We've had presentations from all of the department heads. Throughout that process, we've talked about many things, and I put together a budget that was kind of a understanding from my perspective of what I felt council was on the same page about some of the additions and deletions. I did provide a update on that and with detail about the changes that I made in that budget. One of the aspects of this budget, though, is that we do have the PA 33 mills tied to it. So without having a decision about the PA 33 mills, at this time, it's probably going to be a little difficult to actually make a decision on the budget. One thing that I would recommend with the PA 33 is that we need to schedule meetings because we are up against a hard time deadline for PA 33. We have to have a decision about what that millage rate is prior to the end of the month because we have deadlines for the tax bills. I think that discussions about the budget can probably wait until after we figure out the PA 33. I think we need to schedule some type of plan for special meetings for PA 33 to make a vote. One of the important things about PA 33 and the budget is that we are required to have a supermajority of council, which is 5 votes for each of those. So unfortunately, I know we've talked about it at the last meeting, trying to find a date, and we weren't able to find a date where everyone would be able to attend the meeting in May. We're up against a point where we have to have a meeting in May. And at this point, I think you need to schedule some type of regularity for meetings, whether that be you're going to meet every 3 days until you come up with a decision, or every 5 days or weeks, something like that. Because there's going to be people that aren't going to be able to make it, and to try to make it a fair process. That's something that is a potential option, certainly open to any other options, and it is ultimately your decision, but I think that's what we need to really work on doing right now, is setting that meeting schedule.
To that end, could you put out what I call it, a doodle poll or something, with all the dates in between now and the end of the month? And then we can, I will ask the city attorney, this sounds silly, but if we are putting in our availability for a meeting date, is that voting?
No, that's not an Open Meetings Act violation. You're not deliberating on matters of public policy. You are just trying to schedule.
Okay, I just want to make sure. So if you could do that and get that out tomorrow, we can do that. The mayor does have the ability to call a special meeting, as well as, is it 3 members of council? Okay. So, yes, we have to get this done. I'm committed to doing so, and I think we're going to get it done. But I need to know where we can get 5 votes, and it's not going to be the 5 votes that I think are going to get us across the line. It's going to be when is the most people available to meet, and then we're going to schedule the next meeting and then a tentative meeting after that, should that need arise. Does that seem fair to everyone? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Would it be agreeable to have the budget on the same schedule as well?
Absolutely, yes. We're doing both. We're doing a twofer on that day, and we're going to get out of here.
Okay, so then I will work on getting a schedule out to everyone. Everyone will select the days that they'd be available for a 6:30 PM special meeting, and we will, I guess, work on the first date with the most people available and go from there.
Yep, in the meantime, you get your tax bill stuff ready, and we're going to get those numbers, and we'll plug them in, and you can get that off. I would like to get this done before Memorial Day, if possible. So you're leaving Memorial Day weekend, correct? Okay. So, does that sound like a plan, folks?
Yeah, should we have a hard deadline when everybody's got to have those dates in so we can schedule it as soon as possible?
Yeah, we need them in by, yes, please.
Oh, I'm
You
sorry.
got to speak closer.
What I was saying is, I mean, we don't want to wait a week to decide when we're going to meet in a week.
I would say by Monday. Monday
yes.
is when I will be
Monday at noon.
working with the mayor, looking at the highest number of people available, and
So to all the
those
council
dates on
members
down the
here and the
line.
ones that are missing, they need to have their dates in by this weekend so they can make that decision.
Sooner the better.
If I recall, it was all of you guys. I had no conflicts.
I'm pretty free.
I have no life.
All right, that sounds like a workable solution. We will get it, we'll shoot for 2 dates. One is the next meeting, and the second one is the potential meeting. And hopefully, I think we can get it done within. Item 7C, Axon Taser purchase.
You're not going to bring somebody to demo? Come on, I had to get tased. Jeez. Yeah, it was in the military. Oh, yeah, delightful. I think everybody should be tasered once.
$3.
I also had to be pepper sprayed. I wouldn't recommend that.
All right,
That was worse.
Someone's.
now we're echoing. Good evening. Hold on. What you tried to? Test and see if you,
It's
Yes.
technology every day.
So, shall I speak? This way?
okay, go ahead.
It's a fluke. It's technology. Ooh, that's going to be tough.
Is going to be.
Okay. So I'm here before council tonight to request the purchase of 15 tasers.
See if you can switch microphones. See if the microphone switch.
See?
Yes. It's coming through.
Still on
Hello? That's
Hello?
better, thank you. Go for it.
Go for it.
Director.
Thank you. Good evening. Currently, the department has 12 Axon tasers that we are using for the officers that are on patrol, as well as detectives and the SRO officer to take when they go out in the field. But we have more officers than 12. And so what we've been doing since the department purchased the tasers 10 or 12 years ago is sharing tasers. So we currently have 12 tasers that are in use, minus one that the school resource officer takes. So there's 11 that are in use most of the time for patrol. And the officers come in, they grab one of the tasers, they spark check it, which means they make sure that it's functional, and they put it in their holster, they go out on patrol. They come back, they put it away. Then the next person comes in the next shift, they grab it, and they do the same thing. That's one of the requirements of the tool, is to spark check it to make sure that it's functioning properly. What I'm requesting is that we are able to purchase enough tasers so that everyone has their own equipment. There's several reasons for that. It's less wear and tear on the equipment that we're using, because currently they're being placed in a drawer, and then the next person comes in and takes it. There's a little bit of abuse that happens by the withdrawal of this taser and putting it in the drawer, the next person sparking it, putting it in their holster, and it goes on. Part of what the taser is which is why I decided to throw a slide up here, so the larger picture is the taser, and the picture underneath that is what the cartridges are. So that is what actually is deployed from the taser when the trigger is pulled. And there are probes that come out of that cartridge which go into the subject, which is what causes the electromagnetic, whatever it's called, the EMO, EMD, I wasn't going to get in the whole thing about the tasers, but regardless, that's what gives the person the shock, and they go down. So, or we're able to take them into custody
easier by that happening. Now, it's not just the cartridges. We are also able to deploy a taser without a cartridge on it, but that obviously requires very close contact. But the reason I bring up the taser cartridges is because, number one, that's part of the cost of this package that I'm requesting, and just so that you have an idea of what it is. And so on those cartridges, the top part that's yellow, those are called blast doors, and those are often damaged by the taking out of the taser, putting it in the drawer, the next person using it, you have to take the cartridge off to give it the spark test, put the cartridge on. So those blast doors often get broken, which then means that cartridge is taken out of service, it's useless, and we have to replace it with another one. So it's also my experience that people have particular equipment that they're more comfortable with. As I was talking to Sergeant Nagel, who's in charge of the taser program, a lot of officers are, try to take the same one all the time because that's what they become familiar with, and that's just true with most of the equipment that we use, is that you're comfortable with your pistol, with your handcuffs, with your taser, because that's what you use. You know that it works. You're just very comfortable with it. And again, it's less wear and tear if everyone has their own. So that would eliminate the pulling it out, putting it in a drawer, somebody else getting it and doing that sort of thing. They're able to continue to leave the taser in their holster. Everyone has their own holster already, and be able to store that equipment in their locker with their other items. So with this request is 15 tasers would make it such that all department members, excluding administration, would be assigned their own taser, and it comes with the cartridges and the batteries. All of these components work by use of battery, and oftentimes, obviously, the cartridges get replaced, batteries get replaced, but that is all part of this particular package, which is the extra cartridges and the batteries that accompany these tasers. So, like I said, 15 will get us to where everyone that has street potential regularly would have their own taser along with the cartridges and the batteries. This Axon X26P is currently what we have. There are other newer models that Axon offers, and they have more cartridges, more elaborate training, more bells and whistles that go along with that. We're not interested in that. We're good with, this is their standard taser. It works very well. It's very simple to use, doesn't require any additional training. And we're good just sticking with the model that we have. So with that, as I discussed with the city manager, we were opting to go with the drug forfeiture account, which I have listed, and so I would request the addition of 15 tasers, cartridges, and batteries to be used from the forfeiture account.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem Sutherland.
I'd like to make a motion to waive competitive bidding and purchase 15 Axon tasers with cartridges and batteries from the drug forfeiture account number 265-311-742 in the amount of $22,897.50.
Second.
Okay. Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Sutherland, second.
Typo, right?
What did I miss?
Batteries, not 13,000, right? 1308.
Oh,
I'm just,
that's
I want to
fine.
make sure that the number's correct before I agree.
There's an extra 3.
Okay, just want to make sure. I'm not trying to call you out, just want to make sure that that number is accurate. It's going to be the 22,097.
Big number is the accurate number.
I knew there-
Okay.
I just
Absolutely,
had
that's a
this feeling
typo.
that-
I can't believe I didn't see that.
Nope.
My apologies.
No worries. I just want to make sure we have the
I'll get
accurate
on my
number.
secretary about that.
We're fine.
I just want to make sure we have the accurate number because that would not work
Button
out,
was
the right
stuck.
math.
My apologies.
No, just again, just want a clarification.
All right. Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Sutherland, seconded by Councilmember Odell to approve for a motion to waive competitive bidding and purchase of 15 Axon tasers with cartridges and batteries from the drug forfeiture account 265-311-742 in the amount of $22,897.50. Any other comments from council?
I
Yes,
just had a
Mr.
quick
Perry.
question.
Councilmember Perry.
Are the cartridges reusable, or is it a one-time?
No, if you deploy a cartridge, it is not reusable.
Okay.
No, absolutely not. So that's another reason why, once the blast doors come off, they're rendered useless. So we're hoping to, cut down on on damage to that part of the equipment.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's not like fishing line.
All right.
Any other questions from council before?
I think he volunteers to be tasered.
We could probably make that happen.
We
Any
can sell
members-
tickets.
Any members of the public like to speak on this matter? Seeing, okay. Did you have something to say, Ms. Gibbs? Okay. All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Congratulations, you can now tase
you.
more people.
Seriously, I think people would pay money.
They probably would.
Hey, there we go. It would fix our road.
All right, item 7D. This is 2023 water main replacement program. I assume it's 2024? Or is this last year's program?
The funding started in 2023.
Pardon me?
I think the funding might have started in 2020.
That, okay. Good evening, Mr. Lockwood.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Please identify yourself.
My name is Scott Lockwood with Anderson, Eckstein, and Westrick. We're located at 51301 Shaner Road in Shelby Township, Michigan. And we also have an office in Roseville at 27807 Gratiot Avenue. That's actually where I came from. So we're here today for, it's the 2023 Water Main Contract Award, really a 2024 Water Main Contract. We are recommending an award to Paymar Enterprises, a contractor who's been in the area for a long time. We've worked with them quite a bit. We've done jobs here in Fraser, and we've recently constructed very similar jobs in nearby communities. Very good contractor. The project includes water main on Admiral, Aaron, San Bren, Gordon, College, and Klein, and also includes the resurfacing of College Boulevard. The total bid amount was $2,582,461.36. And in addition to that, we're also recommending a contingency of $50,000, and then construction engineering in the amount of $310,000 for a total project cost of $2,942,461.36. With that, I guess I just open it up to any questions.
Mayor Pro Tem Sutherland.
I just have a question. So I know throughout the budget process, we were talking about doing water main replacement on Vernetta. I think there were other street names. This is separate from that? I just don't understand how they're, do
That is not included in this program.
you know what I'm talking about? Okay, all right, but if that's fine. If that's separate from this, that was my only question for that, so, okay, thank you.
That one would be coming, I believe.
Yes.
I saw something.
Yeah.
Mr.
Oh,
Perhaps we can ask the,
Those are up and coming so we're budgeting for the following budget year.
perfect.
That's why says 2000, actually says 2023. It's because that's when we started. By the time we got the RFP and the time around, it's actually 2024, but it's the 23-24 budget year this year. So the streets you're referring to are the ones scheduled for next budget year.
Okay, so I didn't just make that up. Thank you very much for
Thank you
that
for that
clarification. I appreciate it. Are you trying to put words in my mouth?
no.
And I'm really happy to hear that about College. I drive down College almost every day, and it's a lake, so that's exciting.
All right, Councilmember Odell.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Isn't that like the epicenter of tons of water main breaks where College, that it's been ripped up like 10 times or something like that in a couple-year period?
Yes,
It's a small street, but seems to be where everything goes.
Yeah, it goes from Utica to the Arts Academy, and it's
Right.
got that island in the middle.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else? Anyone want to make a motion?
Oh, sure,
Those are helpful.
yeah. I'll do it. So I will, there's no, oh, there it is, okay. So I will make a motion to award a contract for the 2023 water main replacement project to Paymar Enterprises Incorporated in the amount of $2,582,461.36. Authorize Anderson, Eckstein, and Westrick Incorporated to provide contract administration services in accordance with the standing agreement in the estimated amount of $310,000, and authorize the DPW superintendent and city manager discretion to approve additional contract costs from a construction contingency of $50,000 with a total authorization not to exceed $2,942,461.36.
Second. All Right. Members of the public, anyone like to speak on the 2023 water main replacement program? All right, seeing none, all in favor of passing this motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Glad to see that we're making big progress on water mains. That's huge.
And one street.
Yes.
And one street.
One street.
Yes. All right, item 7E, Lions Club Carnival Contract. Ms. Levin.
You have before you in the packet tonight a 5-year contract proposed by Lions Club for the carnival, the annual carnival event. This contract has been reviewed by the attorney. We've fortunately got a great team with Lions and certainly appreciate everything that they do. Derek is here on behalf of them. We've also got our recreation coordinator here. Do you have any questions for them? They should be able to answer those.
Maybe you can give us some highlights. There were some changes, some,
Yeah, it's basically the same contract except for that we changed a thing where the city will have to send us a single bill within 60 days. I think it was 60 days, right?
Yep.
Okay. And then we just added a clause in there about that we wouldn't pay for anything like if it's a city held thing like the parade. I just want to make sure that that was in there for, so we didn't pay for police or DPW for something like that. And then we also got rid of the Glowworks clause in there, just because they were a pain for us to deal with that company specifically.
so you're controlling the vendors related to it being the,
Yeah, we're not gonna have a Glowworks, that was something that was a stipulation in the contract, and we requested it be removed just because the Glowworks company that they were using were just caused problems all the time for us and the carnival vendor. So we asked for that to be removed.
all right. And then fireworks, do we have is there a number for this year's? fireworks?
We have some information on the fireworks. Unfortunately, it's not very good news. Of course, based upon all of the rising costs, the numbers for the fireworks are going to be significantly more for less.
You said
we-
more or less, or more for
No, more for less.
I heard.
Significantly more money for less of a show. We do have the contract. We would have that available and on the next agenda for approval. I don't know, Chris, if you would have had conversations yet with them about they might be willing to contribute. Certainly, it's be part of the conversation at the next meeting for the contract for the fireworks.
So I've gotten, talked to Zambelli about 3 different quotes from them for a $15,000, $18,000, and $20,000 quote. Currently talking to the Fraser Lions Club to see if they can contribute more, and if possibly if they can contribute more, maybe we can. But I figure that could be on the next council meeting to go over the different options and to choose what you guys think would be the best option.
I think historically, you've spent about $8,000 contribution.
Yeah, and I did talk to our board on Tuesday about this. They didn't want to give me a specific number. They were willing to increase our contribution to it, but they wanted to know what the city would be willing to contribute to it too, just because make it more like a partnership type of thing, increase.
I understand, you're a nonprofit.
Yeah, all the money
We're doing all this money to raise money to give to other
Yeah,
people, so.
none of the people that work, well, like from the Lions Club that work at the carnival, they get paid or anything like that. We all volunteer all the time. We're there still.
And I appreciate that. So, any questions from council members on this? Councilmember Odell.
So I just would like to point out, this man puts in a week and a half worth, well, a lot more before that, but to set up the carnival. So for all the people that enjoy the Fraser Carnival and the beer tent and getting together, Mr. Derek D'Amico puts in a ton of work. I just want to thank him for that, because he does not, I volunteer to pour beer and help out every year, but he's the one setting it up, getting out there a week, getting the fencing out, making sure the porta potties are all set up. He does a ton of work to make this happen for this city every year. So I just want to let him know my appreciation for that, because I think a lot of people don't know, because it takes a lot of people behind the scenes to make that happen, and I appreciate it. As far as the contract, everything looks pretty good. We just got to come up with a price for the fireworks, and I think if they're willing to up it a little bit, and we're willing to up it, we can still have a great show for the residents, and I think that's reasonable.
I do want you guys to be, to see that for 2025, the schedule is a little bit different. It's going to be held in August due to scheduling conflicts with the carnival.
August first week, or?
No.
August 21st to the 24th.
But just for next year?
Just for next year.
Yeah, just for 2025,
Every 5 years, they have a scheduling conflict or something.
Yeah, normally it's like a week earlier. This one was, it's how 4th of July falls. It's on a weekend or something like that. I don't know. Matt, the carnival owner, was trying to explain it to me, but he spent a month trying to figure out how it could work, and he just couldn't figure anything out. So he asked us if we could move. The events that he has surrounding us, he has to drive through the area and go up the state and then come back down. And the events surrounding us are larger, like county fairs and stuff like that, so not as flexible. So we tried to accommodate him.
Okay. Any other member of council, any comments? I would just like to say thank you. I've seen you running around. You probably don't get any sleep for about 2 weeks, and I appreciate it. I'd like to make a motion to approve the Lions Club Carnival 5-year contract.
Second.
Oh, I thought you had done it already.
Oh, do we need the dollar amount, though, to approve the contract, or? I didn't hear what you said.
I thought Ms. Sutherland had made the motion. That's why I was looking at you like so strange.
Not me.
No. All right, so motion by Lessig, seconded by Odell to approve the Lions Club Carnival 5-year contract. Are there any members of the audience who would like to speak on this matter? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes. Thank you very much. Looking forward to it. Oh, wait, I won't be here. Unfortunately,
You won't be here?
not this year. No. All right, item 7F, smart contract.
So we annually contract with SMART for our van service for seniors, taking them to doctor's appointments and doing shopping, various things like that. Through the SMART Municipal and Community Credit Program, we get the majority of the money back that we invest in the program. The contract is for the current fiscal year that we are in, so this is the credit program. So we submit all of our information for what we have paid for the program and get the credits back from SMART. The amount that we are looking to obtain in funding this year is $40,675. That helps offset our over $60,000 worth of expenses for the program. So just looking for approval to authorize the signature of this contract with SMART.
Councilmember Odell.
Make a motion to approve and sign municipal credit and community credit contract for 2024 to obtain funding $40,675 as submitted.
Second.
Okay. Motion by Councilmember Odell, seconded by Shornack to pass the motion as presented. Any member of the public any member of council would like to weigh in on this? Okay. Any member of the public like to weigh on the smart contract? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. All right, item 7G, SEMCOG Fiscal Year 25 Planning Assistance Program Resolution, 24007.
You want to do it? Go ahead. I'm sure Mike prepared you.
I'm surprised. I didn't expect you to come back up.
Oh, well, I don't need to. You want me to?
No. I don't,
So, same name, Scott Lockwood from Anderson, Eckstein, and Westrick. Here to talk about a planning assistance program grant opportunity for the City of Fraser. They basically have $450,000 available with a maximum grant amount per community of $50,000 for planning, and primarily basically for pedestrian planning for the most part, in other words, non-vehicular. And so what this would basically result in, if the city so chooses to apply and receives the grant, basically would be like a master plan for your pedestrian facilities. In other words, sidewalk gaps, identify every place where you have them, any sort of connection to existing pathways with the county and other regional pathways. And would also, there would be involvement, we'd, have public participation to kind of find out what the residents of the city really find that they, what do they really want with their pedestrian movement and non-vehicular ways of travel. So there's basically a total, like I said, $50,000. The city would be, have to match 18.15% of that, which is $9,075. And we also would require about $2,500 in order to make the application itself to apply for the funding. So it could be up to a total amount of $11,575, with a potential $2,500 that might result in nothing, quite frankly, but I think we're pretty optimistic you'd get some funding, whether it be 50,000 or something less, we don't know yet, but I feel like you got a pretty good opportunity to capitalize on this.
Great. Councilmember Shornack.
Question. Would that also include repainting Masonic bike lane? Because it's quite dated, and I'm very concerned that somebody's going to not,
I thought they just repainted everything.
unless they've done it in the last day.
Sonic.
I just drove it today, it looked good.
Yeah, they just
Did
repainted.
they? Okay, because I haven't been down there honestly in a week, but last time I was down there last week, it was faded. So,
To answer your question, this will not actually include any physical work that you'll see the results of, other than a planning document.
Which can be used later for.
Absolutely.
Applications for transportation alternative programs.
Yes, and that is included in there, that transportation alternative program, if you have a master plan, will enhance your chances of receiving that. And I believe the maximum for those is $720,000 per project, for things like streetscapes or multimodal pathways, striping on existing roadways for bike lanes.
As I've always said, having a plan helps. When the money comes up, here's our plan.
Without question, yep. And I think the sidewalk gaps have been coming up since I started working here 20-some years ago.
And they haven't, they're still there.
It seems like it.
To answer your question, Masonic was just restriped, but the green portion of the bike lane is scheduled to be done in the fall.
thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ragsdale. Mayor Pro Tem Sutherland.
So I just wanted to say, when we were talking earlier about some of the things that we can spend our money on that are going to benefit the community as a whole, like this is exactly one of the things that I'm talking about. I definitely get resident feedback also about making Fraser a more walkable city. So to me, this is something really exciting and worth the investment. So with that being said, I'll make a motion to adopt a resolution of support number 2024-007 for the SEMCOG fiscal year 25 Planning Assistance Program grant application and authorize the city manager to submit an application for sidewalk and pathway gap network planning.
Second.
Okay. Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Sutherland, seconded by Councilmember Odell to adopt that grant resolution in support of the grant application. I do have a question. If we don't get $50,000, what is the expected cost of a plan? Is it around $50,000? So we might, let's say we get 25.
We might specify exactly what you want to focus on.
Okay.
if we're
So
not
we
able
can
to
narrow
do
the scope of the
Exactly.
plan to say Utica or 14
major
mile.
trunkways or something
Okay.
like that.
Thank you. That's what I needed to know. Any other members of council would like to speak on this? All right. Any member of the public would like to speak on this? Seeing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you very much. Thank you, Scott. All right. Item 7H, city clerk recommendation. Ms. Levin.
Just to provide everyone a little information since our last meeting, our subcommittee did have interviews with 4 candidates for the city clerk position. The subcommittee was made up of Councilmember Perry, Mayor Pro Tem Sutherland, and Mayor Lesich. We also worked with the current city clerk and myself as part of that group conducting the interviews. We did have a unanimous decision on our recommendation, and that person is August Gitschlik. He is a certified Michigan municipal clerk. He's had 25 years of experience. He previously worked in Clausen and Hamtramck. He currently is acting as a consultant. He left Clausen, and he is interested in coming back into the field. We have some people in the office that do have knowledge of him. They've worked with him in the past and give him really glowing reviews. So very excited about this opportunity. I did extend an invitation out to him to attend tonight. Unfortunately, he was not able to with a personal issue. But he is very excited. He would love to be part of the Fraser team, and certainly looking to getting council to hopefully approve the recommendation.
Anyone at council?
You were there.
I know, I'm trying to find, let me find the wording to,
The members of the committee's opinions on
Yeah.
recommendation.
Well, we can entertain a motion, and then we can talk. I think you were about to.
no, I would love to say the wording correctly, and I don't have anything to base it off of because it's not in our packet.
I'll do this one. I would like to make a motion to enter into discussions with August Gitschlag to fill the role of city clerk for the city of Fraser.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Is that sufficient? City Clerk Greenia, who's leaving us? Okay. All right. Motion by Lessig, seconded by Councilmember Perry, and now we can have a discussion.
I would like to know what your council members' thoughts were. The interview.
First, we have the city manager who would like to speak.
Yep, just a couple things. First and foremost, certainly want to thank Cindy in her capacity in that role. The last 3 years has been phenomenal, and, we've gotten great feedback from people at the county level, other communities that have said she does just an exceptional job, and for her to have the comfort with August to coming into this position is very positive. Certainly hoping that as part of the budget approval, we'll be able to keep Cindy on as well as our deputy clerk. I don't think that we can necessarily address that tonight without really taking a look at the budget for the future expenditures. So hopefully we can keep her on. And then I also want to extend a huge thank you to Mary, my assistant, who was thrust into the role really as a deputy clerk. She wears every single hat she possibly can and is always more than willing to accommodate and help out. She really stepped up and helped Cindy with so much with the elections, especially with all of the new requirements that the state had. I have to say this, is that I'm going to be super happy to get her back as my assistant, because really the last couple years, she's been working for Cindy.
Thank you, Mary.
Yes, at one point in time, when we were working on the budget, looking to bring in a full-time deputy clerk with all of the new work and everything from the state and all of the things that need to be done also as part of the clerk's job. The need is there, but with Cindy as someone that's willing to stay on in a part-time capacity, the knowledge is already there, and that's why I feel it would just be a great match to be able to keep her on as part-time, so we wouldn't need to really bring on a full-time. Certainly Mary, I know that a lot of the election workers love working with Mary, and hopefully she would still be able to have some role and help out during some of the election times. So I just wanted to share that with everyone.
Thank you very much. I agree with all of that. All right, Mayor Pro Tem Sutherland.
So since Councilmember Odell asked for my feedback, I'm going to give it. I just wanted to say that, one of the best things that can happen when you're hiring someone to an organization, right, is that you have a really qualified candidate pool. And the candidate pool for these interviews for this position, they didn't make it easy on us, right? It was a difficult decision, and it honestly came down to skills, abilities, history. So, Mr. Gitschlag did a great job in his interview. like Ms. Levin said, it was a unanimous decision, but I also want to say like how well the subcommittee, as well as Ms. Levin and Ms. Greenio worked together, because the collaboration and talking through this process, it made it extremely easy to determine who is the best fit that we believed for the role, so.
I'll weigh in. This is my second opportunity to meet Auguste. We actually interviewed him a few years ago before we hired Ms. Greenia, and he was on my very short list of candidates, but he removed himself from consideration. I think he went right to Clausen, and so he was not considered for the position, but he would have been highly qualified then. I feel the same way now. I believe it'll be a smooth transition for the technical aspects of running an election. He's an energetic guy that will bring a new dynamism to the city hall, but professionalism as well. I have no doubt about his professionalism. So that's my 2 cents.
This was a new experience for me because I've never interviewed people in my life. So I was a noob, and I asked some basic questions, but I handed it off to you guys, the professionals. But all the candidates were great, and I think it went real well too.
Yep.
So, sorry, that's all I really have to add.
No, that's fine. Thank you. I thought it worked real well. Any member of the audience would like to speak on this matter? Mr. Ragsdale, please come up.
I just want to say that you guys have knocked it out of the park with August, because I've worked with August for years at Brownstown Township and Hamtramck. And when Cindy said she was retiring, Cindy and I both looked at each other and said, August. Yeah.
Can you help me out? How do you pronounce his name?
Gitschlag.
August?
Gitschlag.
Gitschlag?
Gitschlag. Yep.
We're just going to stick with August.
We call him Augie.
I won't do that, but thank you. I'm still butchering his name as it is. All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Please proceed with whatever the next steps are to see if we can get this done. Thank you. All right, item number 8, library building discussion. Returning business, by the way.
Mr. Mayor, City Council, how are you?
Good evening.
Jim Sutherland on behalf of the Board of Trustees for the library. I have a letter. You guys got it in your packet. I'm going to read it for the citizens, and then I'll entertain any questions that you might have.
Thank you.
We've been told that the repairs to the library have been completed. Following is a preliminary timeline moving forward. In May, walkthroughs will be done by insurance companies, inspectors, and board members. The library board will hire a structural engineer to determine the extent of the repairs that need to be made to the building before the building can safely open. June, the library board will receive and evaluate the results of the structural engineer's determinations and share those results with City Council. If all goes well, we will then complete the purchase of the building from the city. We will then put out bids for the work that will take approximately 3 months to receive back, analyze, and determine which companies we will use. We believe construction and repairs will begin in October 2024. At this time, we have no idea the scope of the work that will need to be done. Coming up with a move-back date at this time would be an uneducated guess at best. We do not anticipate being before spring or summer of 2025. Moving forward, we're saving and investing to purchase a larger building where we can offer the services expected of a 21st century library, like private study rooms, maker space, meeting rooms, storage of materials, and a permanent space for the Friends of Fraser Public Library perpetual book sale, just to name a few. We expect it to take approximately 10 years, and that's just, we put it out there, who knows, until we have the funds available to purchase the building and do what we need to do.
Purchase a different building.
Correct.
Okay.
A bigger building.
Okay.
I'll entertain any questions you guys have. Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Odell. No, I was just waiting for the light to show up. Don't worry.
You knew there was going to be one.
I do.
So I know I know there's been a lot of back and forth behind the scenes with the attorney, I believe, with the purchase agreement. So just so I have a full understanding, probably some residents are wondering too, has the board agreed to, that it is their intention to buy back the building upon having the engineers and everything look at it?
Yes.
Okay. So that's been voted on, approved, contingent on those, you know.
Yes.
If you're missing a beam or something, you know, and it makes no sense, and that, or, you know, something's gonna fail or something, I can completely understand. And both parties, attorneys, you guys have looked at the contract, you're in total agreement with the contract is how it's stated or agreed upon, correct?
Yes, as the purchase agreement is written now, it was voted on in the affirmative.
Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem Sutherland.
What's the current condition of the reverter clause in the contract?
Thanks, Don.
I don't have it in front of me, unfortunately. I looked to see if I've downloaded it or uploaded it.
I'm only asking also because, right, the situation has changed a bit.
Yeah. So the reverter clause that was approved last year by both sides, from memory, was designed to return the building to city ownership upon one of two things happening. Either they stop using it as a library, in other words, they buy a new building, they move out, or they fail to make the required capital improvements, things like HVAC and whatever the parties agree on needs to get done. I believe it's a 3-year window for them to complete those improvements because they are getting the building for $1. So the cost is on them rather than on the city. There was another proposal that started off earlier that the city would pay retail value to the city, but the city would make the improvements. They chose the $1 and then they'll make the improvements. So in either of those two situations, they don't meet the 3 years, or they ever stop using it as a library, the city retakes ownership of the building and then can dispose of it as it chooses.
Okay, so it will stay in the reverter clause is going to stay.
It is in the contract, has been voted on by city and the board, and it's official, yes.
Okay, thank you.
You said that's 3 years?
That's my recollection. I believe we gave them 3 years to complete all of the, and she remembers that as well, to complete the capital improvements that are going to be agreed upon.
So if they put the money into the building, let's say it needs HVAC, all that, they're running it as a library for 3 years or more, then they technically own the building if they sell it down the road? Is it, am I
But
hearing you?
the money, if it's within 20 years, it will get depreciated value. And then the city would pay us out for any money we put into the building for those 20 years, but you guys would still get any budget increase from selling the building to somebody else. Anything that we put in.
So the library would get no proceeds from the sale?
Correct.
minus
That's how it
the
is written.
improvements?
All the proceeds would go to the city. Nothing would go to the library, except for you'd have to
Expenses.
repay us for our,
Expenses.
that we
So
put
if you
in.
put 2 million.
Appreciated expense.
But depreciated.
Yeah, I just
Okay.
wanted to clarify that. And,
Yeah.
and I'm new to this whole process, sort of. So it would be so if you put $2 million into the building, and you were there for 8 years, and then you said, we're leaving, the city would be responsible for reimbursing you the depreciated value.
Of the 2 million, whatever we spent the 2 million on. So
Yeah.
different things depreciate at different rates.
Things that were still working, and, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that's the rough idea, the attorneys work out the details, but we wouldn't be paying you the $2 million back, we'd be paying some lesser amount.
Yes.
And, is that,
You got it, nailed it.
okay. Councilmember Odell.
Okay, so during this whole, if we sell it to them for $1 with a reverter clause, if something were to say happen like a car goes through it.
It won't ever happen.
No, I'm just saying, yeah,
Why?
just as an example.
Thanks.
Too soon.
I know, but, so who's responsible is to keep it insured? Is that all on the library? Okay. Okay.
It would be our building just for $1, just as if you purchased a house from somebody else.
I know, but usually you don't have reverter clauses once you transfer title and.
It's more like a lease.
Look at like a land contract.
I understand it.
It's more like a leasehold like they have in other places, kind of like the city of Hong Kong was.
Give it back to.
Yeah, you gotta give it
give it
back.
back after so many years?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. not the way I would have thought to do this, but if you guys are in agreement, I'm fine with that, so.
Councilmember Shornack.
I have a question. So, just for the heck of it, say they put 2 million in it, and then we go to sell it, and guess what? We can't get that much for it. And even at the reduced amortization down, say, we don't end up even selling it for what we owe them, then that has to come out of the general fund?
I have to look at the contract to get the details of this part of it. I don't remember this as clearly as the reverter part, but in theory, no one's expecting $2 million, but if we're going to use that as our example, in theory, then if we're down to, 800,000 by the time they vacate, in theory, that's a
We have to
city
give them back
expenditure, a
800,000,
capital expenditure for the city to purchase a building back, in theory. But that's assuming the value of whatever they put in. No
Well,
one's expecting numbers.
We already
to
know the
be-
HVAC and the roof are gonna cost a heck of a lot. And then if they have to replace that elevator,
Elevators.
yeah. So
I don't remember the elevator being on the list,
the
though.
elevator's definitely in the list.
Yeah.
The list
I
was
wrote down
very
it last
short.
time. It
Well, trust me, I know the elevator's on the list.
I mean, I'm talking about the words in the contract. I don't remember that being in it. It was a
Well,
very short list that.
One way or the other, that elevator's gonna get fixed, whether it's gonna be on the
Of
city
course,
dime,
of
or
course.
it's gonna be on their dime, it's gonna have to happen. But my point is still the same. If you can't get the value, the city's still gonna be on the hook for the money. So I don't know how I'm feeling about that.
That's why I would.
And again, I don't remember it that specifically. So everybody approved the contract, both the city council was happy with it. We were happy with it. Lawyers were all happy with it. They were happy with it. I don't remember it being that dramatic. So I do need to look at it again.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to, you sent it to us, because I remember reading it.
Oh, of course.
So I
It's
have to, no, I said,
circulated.
I remember reading
Yeah.
it, so I'm gonna have to go back and read it too, because now I'm feeling pretty funky about that, because I'm like, that's a lot of money to all of a sudden, hey, guess what? We're gonna give it back to you now, because now we have our money for this, and now guess what? You have to give us like $800,000. And what happens if we are financially strapped at the time? It's gonna be an issue. So,
I mean,
forward thinking.
the city pretty much got it for nothing, correct?
Oh, absolutely. That's not my
So,
problem.
I mean, it's not like we paid out all this money for a building and then we stand to lose money off of that. It was basically given to the city, so,
That's not my.
in my
I
opinion.
did upload
but
it, so
in
you
my
guys
opinion-
keep talking. I'm going to read it real quick. I did upload it. It was just
But,
earlier than
I
I
mean, in my
thought,
opinion-
so I had to go back and find it.
I don't have a problem giving it to them for $1. Have it all
don't
day.
either. I don't either.
That is not my problem. My problem is like, okay, we're gonna put this much money into it and say, like I said, 5 years from now, oh, guess what?
I know, I'd rather wash the
I
hands
don't-
of it and.
But you won't be. That's what I'm saying. You're future, you're doing this, you're kicking
I
the
know,
can down the
I'm-
road.
All right, city
So-
manager would like to weigh in on, she has something
Remind
important.
everyone, this is just an update, there's no required motion or decision or.
No, I know.
anything tonight.
I understand,
I figure it's good to get it out
I
there.
just, yeah, just the way it's.
Talking about this process, what I recall is that we mutually agree on the things that need to. Mutually agree on the things that
You
need
knew
to
it was
be
you.
changed. And if for some reason we can't mutually agree on that, then the contract is dead in the water. One way that we could potentially plan for future is that once we know what those amounts are, say they spend $500,000 on all these improvements, we could potentially restrict funds in the budget, have those set aside so that when and if they move out in a time period, we would have those funds restricted to pay them back.
I would, yeah, I was gonna suggest something like that, and then you can just amortize it down every year and put it back into the fund, just so that those funds are there.
So there's a couple things that we still have details to work out before this is complete.
Right. I want to prepare for future events, if we can. Obviously, we can't prepare for everything, but.
So if I may, the list, as I recalled it correctly, the list of required improvements as we defined them was limited to heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems, mold remediation, and repairs to the roof of one or more buildings on the property. That's it. So that's where our depreciated, amortized obligation to pay back, because we're getting a building back that there's been value put back into it by them with their money for those three categories of things. That's it.
That's it.
Okay?
Well, then,
Core
I
needs.
know we're gonna have to revisit the elevator then. So,
Director.
I think we added the elevator in.
Yeah.
For the final,
We did. That was one of
It's possible that it was talked about on
bringing
your
over?
end. I'm not promising that my memory's perfect, but this is the
Right.
one, I don't even remember the word elevator coming up. That's, you would think that would stick with me if it was discussed, so.
It's in our minutes somewhere.
It's in our minutes.
It's in our
Okay.
minutes.
Okay, well, I mean, we can work that out.
It's not signed yet, so.
No, we can work that out.
Sounds like you have a plan.
We do. We do. And I just, if I may, I just want the citizens to know that we're doing everything we can for them. We would like them to come to our meetings. You know, that would be incredibly awesome if we could pack the library with Fraser residents that can hear it straight from the horse's mouth, per se. There's a lot of stuff going on out there. There's a lot of stuff on Facebook that's just flat out not true. And please come by the library. Excuse me. There is all information on our website. All our financial stuff's on the website. Our minutes are on the website. Anything you want to know about the library is on the website. If not, email me, email somebody. There's 6 of us and Lorena. Ask us, because we're the ones that have the answers. Please don't, I hate to say don't listen to your neighbors, because that's not right. I don't mean it that way, and I hope you guys understand I don't mean it that way. But make sure that you hear it from us, because if you haven't heard it from us, it might not be 100% correct. That's all I'd ask. I'm almost begging.
What, are you saying like enough and, all the Fraser sites, they're not accurate?
Okay.
So, to that end, I agree.
I won't comment on it.
Nor should you. Thank you. And could you tell us, for the benefit of the public, when are your meetings so that we could attend? 'Cause
Absolutely.
you
and
didn't
they're all
mention,
on the
you didn't
website.
mention the most important part, like. when
Right?
the meeting.
Our next one is the 20th of this month. They're on Mondays, and we moved it back from 4 o'clock to 5:30
Okay.
every time now, so more residents could come. So they're at 5:30. This one is the 20th on Monday, a couple weeks away. And then they're all listed on our website. I don't have them in front of me right now, but everything you want to know about the library, pretty much 99% of what we're doing, you're going to find on our website. And if not, like I said, call me, email me. I'll answer any questions any resident has at any time.
Any plans on, I know you did one video, any plans of putting putting the video or audio of the meeting out there so people can listen? Okay. All right. Did you have a question? No, I just heard my phone. Oh, okay. All right, I guess that's it. Anybody from the public would like to speak on this? Okay, Ms. Gentz, can somebody give her room? Thank you.
Oh, I'm here, I'll sit with you.
Oh, cool, thank you. Anyway,
As long as you
Deanna
don't yell at
Reiner, no, not at all. 15569 Luxembourg, Deanna Reiner. My phone's been going off like crazy since we're talking about the library. And there's been, the people messaging me have been very, looking at the financials and such with the library. So the question is coming up, since we have you right here, is they wanted me to ask is from the time that the library became self-sufficient and self-supporting, were lease payments made to the City of Fraser during the time until the truck went through and they
Lease
moved
payments?
out? Yes.
No, there was no payments to the City of Fraser. In the contract, I guess, and this was before my time, but there was.
Hold on, Ms. Chudlin. The questions come to the.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
No, it's just the way we
I was
do
looking
this.
at you, but I figured he's
Robert's
going to
rules for a
answer.
second.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just, that's
I'm
how it
looking
works.
at
and
you, but,
These folks over here can answer the questions, and that's.
Okay.
These are the folks, just like, I just want to make sure we're getting the right person to answer the question from the city's.
so anyway, I'll direct it to you, though, but that was the rumor, is that they were to be paying lease payments to the City of Fraser when they became self-sufficient. And the rumors are the people that have looked at the financials have not seen that lease payments had been made to Fraser.
Can you address that?
Based on the time that I have been here, which has been 3 years, there's been no evidence of a contract or any payments that have been made. I don't believe that there actually was any type of written contract or understanding between the city and the library.
Going back to Mr. Mayor, I thought that when we did come up with the plan that they were going to be self-sufficient, that they were then a leasee, that there were lease payments to be paid to the City of Fraser.
And I'm going to step out of it. Normally, this is a conversation where we listen to you. I will answer that because I was.
That was a discussion, so anyway,
That's why I'm a little leeway. There have never been any discussions or any motions or any agreements that I voted on regarding rent payments. But I believe utilities and other things have been covered by the library. So it hasn't been a free experience for the library.
Okay, it was just our understanding that there was.
I understand your
So
point,
again,
because and I'm, like I said, I'm going a little bit outside the boundaries. In 2019, when this first started, I wanted the transfer very quickly so that we wouldn't have to get involved in lease and rental payments. And then that never happened. Then COVID hit and the world changed for a time. And now we're here. So I can tell you that that was my goal if this was going on and on, but
No,
circumstances
I'm just saying
changed.
again as.
Wanted to give you the facts.
I don't know, I understand, and like I said, I'll direct it to you, but as to Councilman Sharmanek's point is that if there were to be lease payments, if anybody has that information, that again, if it does take a loss and we end up repaying money back to the library when lease payments should have been made during that time period. So just questions that I'm getting from people that have been watching the financials. And that's it, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Glad people are watching the financials.
Absolutely. Anything else you'd like to add?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, then we're good tonight, I think.
Right.
Thank you very much. All right, item number 9, report of city administration.
Just a couple of
that
things
every
to
time we have an agenda?
report. For the HVAC units, we're getting to the home stretch. There was a little bit of an issue with the fit of one of the HVAC units. Of course, it's the one that takes care of our council chambers, wouldn't you know? They are going to be out with the crane again this Saturday and making an adjustment to the fit of that HVAC unit. And then next week, they should be continuing to work with all of the connections with the temperature controls and getting things up and running. I believe that the public safety office will be closed again this Saturday because the crane will be there. It's coming in from 8 to 9. So it shouldn't take all day. Fortunately, it's just one little minor modification. There is something that we're going to be working on regarding roads, which is the federal aid roads. There's the call for projects from the county, and that is going to be coming up due early June. And I would like to see if we can get the street committee group back together so that we can plan for what we would want to submit to the county for consideration for projects. Also with the industrial road issue and trying to get funding for that, I think it would be very helpful for the street committee to discuss that and try and work forward with getting any type of funding through the federal government as well. So I would be looking for volunteers. I know we have a couple people that aren't here tonight, so maybe if you can email me if you are interested in being on the street committee. Probably would need to meet sometime the last week in May. I'll provide a little bit more information and follow up on email with everyone and see who we have that's interested.
Mr. Janelle, would we need to be appointed to that committee before we get to meet, or can we meet informally?
If you're creating a committee, then you would appoint the members, of course. If you just want to meet informally as not a committee, that's up to you. Yeah, as long as it's sub-quorum.
Yep. Oh, of course. Yes. All right. Anything else, Ms. Lemon? Okay. All right. Oh, I thought I heard the door open. I was panicked. A report of mayor and city council. Councilmember Perry.
Nothing at this time.
I'll just go down the way. Councilmember Shornack.
Oh, for Mother's Day? No, I blew it now. You take it.
Councilmember Perry, do you have anything you'd like to say to save yourself?
Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
I'm talking to your wife.
Councilmember Shornack.
Dang, man. I'll she does for you? Sheesh. Anyway, happy Mother's Days to all the mothers, and all the fathers who are mothers, and all the grandparents who are mothers, because there are a lot of different kind of mothers in the world these days. The Baumgartner Museum will be having an open house on the 2nd of June, and they will be having a barn sale. They will be having a barn sale every month during summer. They are taking donations on Wednesdays from 5:30 to 7:30. They have a new sign, and now it's called Samantha's Garden, and the sign's up. They got a new split rail fence, so they wanted everybody to see that. They're making improvements, obviously, as they've been saving up money too, and I know they were applying for a grant for the split rail fence, but I also know that the society was helping out with that. And they are looking for young volunteers who would like to come and, either earn some community service hours or be like a member at large for the commission, because it is an unpaid commission, but they are looking for youngsters to get involved in history. I think that is all she wrote.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Odell.
Stole my thunder, but happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
We can all say.
Yes, yes.
You can
That's
say
like
it.
a statement, but wish my mother, who's 88 years old, and she has done a lot for me over my life, and has taken care of my dad, who's having some medical issues now, and I just appreciate your moms, and because one, we all wouldn't be here without them, and just appreciate everything that they do, and make sure you reach out and let them know. Other than that, have a great night, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Now I'll save you, Councilman Odell. Don't forget your wife. Okay.
They must have comfortable couches.
Right?
Mayor Pro Tem Sutton.
The only thing that I had wanted to say is, we will not have another regular meeting before the Fraser High School class of 2024 graduates. So congratulations to Fraser High School class of 2024.
Is that all for tonight?
Yeah, you know what? I don't have a diatribe tonight. I'm done.
Okay, I'm going to start with Happy Mother's Day to my mother, my wife, and all the daughter I have that is a mother, my daughter-in-law, and everybody else that has ever had a child. So, on to other things. Today, some of us went to the Macomb Business Awards, and that's held as part of the Macomb County Planning and Economic Development holds these every year. We had several businesses and nonprofits from Fraser. There were a lot of good categories, and Fraser First was nominated, and Care of Southeast Michigan, which is also a nonprofit in our community, was named Nonprofit of the Year. So we're proud to. Fraser had a representative sample on the list of nominees that was much bigger than our 4% of the county, and I'm always proud of that. We punch above our weight on these kind of things. Fusion Marketing of East Point is a company that I've worked with personally. They were on the list. Community Garden of East Point, the Urban Seed, they were on the list. So it's great to see these kind of grassroots people. Laura met and Vanya met Hewell Perkins today. That was the highlight of their morning. Let's see. I already said Happy Mother's Day. We are working to secure funding for industrial roads. We're asking the Congressman John James to give us some assistance there. We had a very good response from our industrial park partners, and they gave letters of support to the congressman, and we appreciate all of their support from them and our elected officials that weighed in.
Senator Kleinfeld.
And our elected officials that weighed in, Senator Kleinfeld and Representative St. Germain. It was a short time frame. We didn't get all the names we wanted, but we did get 55 letters between the city council, and I appreciate everyone that weighed in on that. And so we cross our fingers, everything we can do to make these roads, especially sooner than later, happen. Wanted to say, I'll say thank you or congratulations to the Fraser High School graduates upcoming. And last but not least, the Roseville City Council has been going through a bit of a hard time. Commissioner Ha lost a daughter. His daughter passed away a week or so ago. I'd like to extend my condolences. And then they've had a couple of health issues with other members or their families. So keep them in their thoughts. They do a hard job, and sometimes we need to Remember, they're human beings too. So, with that, happy Mother's Day. One more time. And now 11, citizen participation. Anyone from the public would like to come up and speak? Please come on up. Ms. Greenia, did we get her name spelled properly for you? I'm not sure, so I would appreciate it if you do that for me. Is it Luxio, correct?
Yep.
Okay. What we'd like to do is get your name spelled right for the record.
Okay.
And so, oh, you're on there. You signed up.
Yeah, I
Okay.
signed up like the last 2 times.
Thank you very much. We just want to make sure we get the record right.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Welcome to the Fold Council members. The name still remains as Luxio Leon Onyx, and I live at 16891 General, but I also live in a cave somewhere in Babylon. Recent news is the youth over these past few weeks and months have been repeatedly sending the grand message of divestment from Israel, from their universities, and wanting full disclosure on where their tuition money is truly going from their universities. From facing campus police, local police, state police, the National Guard, building barricades using all the training they have learned from school shooter drills in public schools. Did y'all know you're also messing with and talking to the Sandy Hook generation now? They've all grown up just to see that the enemies they were preparing to face all along are the police sent by the college administrators more than other school shooters around town. Clearly, this country is aligned with Israel also on police tactics and kettling crowds, because our police forces have learned and are still learning from Israel to this day. These cops have been brutally beating these students and arresting them for unnecessary reasons. It's no holds barred for cops. I think it's always been that way. From Kent State to Columbia to Michigan University, these uprisings haven't stopped over just wanting to end wars and genocides across the world that the U.S. has been very complicit in. Why are college universities using students' and parents' money to help send weapons to Israel? Why not put all of their money where they actually want it, towards their careers and education, towards the school's funding for careers and education? Why wars and genocide? Cops have used rubber bullets, which can still cause people to bleed, by the way, tear gas, pepper spray, batons, tasers, stun grenades on students, on children here, on faculty members too, arresting student faculty members, even letting Zionists come into these encampments with no concern, as Zionists have been harassing the students as well. Quick thing here. Zionism is a racist and genocidal ideology, not a religion. Zionism and Judaism are not the same thing. Do not ever equate the Star of David with Zionism. It's all a ruse so Israel can conquer all of Palestine. Jewish people have begged for their religion to not be equated to Zionism. Holocaust survivors mean it when they say never again. Equating criticism of Israel to anti-Semitism is a lie too, just a cover for them to be able to commit war crimes and genocide. Palestinians are all hoarded into Rafah now, which is being massacred as we speak. Rafah is the last place everyone has evacuated to in Palestine. Israel told them that's a safe place they can go when they lied. It was all a part of Israel's plan to move Palestinians from Gaza City to Rafah, trying to end every single one of their lives. Now, there's no universities left in Gaza, which should make sense as to why students are protesting and holding their colleges hostage with encampments. Power to the people, power to the student encampments, power to the professors, powers to professors and faculty protecting them, power to the Palestinians avoiding death every day. If you're sick and tired of hearing it, they're sick and tired of living it every day. Man, I just want to say this too. because this is a very important human thing right now. When you needed to overcome heartbreak and trauma, how did you do it? You cried, you screamed, you sulked, you felt it all the way through. You felt it all the way through. You seeped into your shadow and went through the turbulence there. The only way out of this is through. We can't ignore oppressed people everywhere wanting our help, especially when we claim we're not going to be like our slave-owning, colonizing ancestors anymore. Feel Palestine all the way through like you felt your traumas all the way through. This collective pain, grief, sadness, and anger is a good component for great change and rehumanization of the heart and soul. Also, okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else would like to speak? Yes.
Laura Lessig, 15201 Fairview. On behalf of the Fraser First Booster Club, we have our next meeting next Wednesday, May 15th at 6 o'clock at the current library location on 15 Mile Road. We also are having a fundraiser at Ramshorn on Thursday, May 30th from 5 to 8. We'll have a raffle and a bake sale as well, so please come to that. Just to point out that at McKinley, we have the Tiny Doors display that'll be out there for the next couple weeks. So bring your kids and come see all the fairy doors. Right next, I think it's on the north end of the Comfort Station, so right where all those woods are. The other thing I wanted to mention is that, unfortunately, the Rec Commission meeting was canceled this month, so I understand their next meeting will be in June, which is the first Tuesday of the month at 7 o'clock right here in the chambers. I would recommend or encourage people to come to that meeting, because in June, they'll probably start talking about the parade and things happening for the Fraser Carnival. Plus, there are open seats, and that's one of the reasons why they can't meet, is they don't have a quorum. So I believe there's 2 open seats yet, so if you are interested in being a part of that commission, please reach out to the city manager on that. And what else I want to say about that? As far as my own personal feeling regarding the fireworks, the Fraser Carnival, the Lions Club Carnival, is like the biggest thing that happens within our city, and people come from all over the place to see the fireworks. So I would recommend that, you have to have it for a certain amount of period or time-wise. Do what it takes to have a great show, because they will talk about it for the next year. And just a little thought, in the last special meeting that you had regarding the budget a couple weeks ago, when you all were trying to come up with a date and everybody, you couldn't find a date, is it possible to have a Zoom call to accommodate those people that might be out of town? I don't know if that's even a possibility, but I really believe that all 7 members of the council should be around for that vote. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the audience would like to speak? Seeing none, I would make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Lessig, second by Mayor Pro Tem Sutherland to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It is now 8:15 PM. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.